Welcome to Tuesday, October 25th, 2022, this Day Weather Podcast, brought to you by Cowboy State Daily. They have more original Wyoming news information than anybody else in the state. See them at cowboystatedaily.com or visit their Facebook page. We have two weather systems coming through. One little one coming through today. It's already brought snow to places like Jackson and the far western areas of Wyoming overnight. But another system is going to come in tomorrow. And both in unison will make the winds gusty on the plains, bring more snow to the high country. Mountain snow showers, going to be a really good bet. There's going to be a little bit of snow shower activity on the plains, especially tomorrow and tomorrow night. But it's going to stay cool. There's no warm-up coming for a while, although I think decent weather's coming Friday through Halloween Monday. Not perfect. I think the weekend's going to be a little windy, but we don't see anything big coming between Friday through Halloween. Could November be off to a cold start? It's possible. It's on the table, and I want to give you a little bit of an example of what could happen. Not saying it will, but November could be off to a real cold start and when we take a look at the long-term trends. Beautiful photos still coming on in. Another great shot out of western Wyoming before the front came. Beautiful shot out of the Snowy Range up along Douglas Creek in the Rob Roy Reservoir area. Then another shot out of Alpine. Now this was after the front. We had a great shot from Alpine in the same area before the front. And then here's our first view of New Mexico colors. Thanks for sending this on in. Love to hear from New Mexico. Colors there, obviously, being further south, will be hanging on a little bit longer. Today's satellite photo is coming. What I'm showing you here is yesterday's satellite photo taken late yesterday afternoon as skies began to clear on out. This area up here is cloudiness, but a lot of this, some of this is clouds, but a lot of this right here is snow that fell with the system. Look at the Uintas and look at the mountains of Utah, all the way down into that southwest part of Utah, getting a lot of snow. Then you can see the Wind Rivers, the Owl Creek Mountains here. Look at the Bighorns and near the Bighorns. You can see that the plains, not very much snow, but the mountains, the Yellowstone Plateau, all picking up significant snowfall. Two systems. Here's one back here. This is that little swirl of clouds. That's coming for Wednesday. We have a little bit of a low right here that's coming through today and heading southeast. So basically they're tracking from the northwest to the southeast. That's a great way to make it snow in the mountains. So here's that little wave that is coming on Wednesday. It doesn't look like much, but there's that little wave coming through today in that northwest flow. Northwest flow makes it windy on the plains and makes it snow in the mountains. So with this next little low coming on in, we're going to have more wind. And as we get on into Wednesday, here we go. By Wednesday, 6 p.m., we have that secondary low. Notice it's a bit more, you can see it stick out a little more. It's not a really strong system, but it will bring colder air in from the northwest. It is going to bring a slug of Pacific moisture. And here it is. Again, you can see it going into the higher mountain ranges where there's going to be additional snowfall. The gray and the light green here, there is going to be some showers out onto the plains, some rain showers mixed with snow showers across South Dakota and Nebraska, the front range of southeastern Wyoming, front range of Colorado, a few rain and snow showers, but the mountains faring the best. And there you can see the mountain snow. So a lot of happy ski areas with this change in the weather, and they should be happy by what we're seeing on the charts as we head into November here. This is the 5-day temperature average compared to the normals, the 30-year average of temperatures. You can see the temperature anomaly for the entire west. It's not, really severely cold, but it is colder than normal to go through the last days of October. Now this is for Sunday. Notice it's a little innocuous. This low here is going to make it wet in the Midwest and Plain states, but generally speaking, it's a west to northwest flow that'll bring occasional snow showers to the mountains this weekend, but mainly this is a windy pattern for the plains with temperatures close to average, maybe slightly below, kind of a typical late October pattern where we have the system coming on through. So Friday through Monday, not a lot going on, but I want to show you a little bit the longer term. This is for 6 a.m. next Tuesday, so a week from today. Notice the high is building up here in Eastern Pacific again, and we're starting to see the jet stream wanting to take a dip in the west. So if this happens, and this is a slug of really cold air right here, if this happens and the door opens to the northwest areas of Canada, the north slope of Alaska, the Northwest Territories here, well, if this happens right after Halloween, the beginning of November Well, the door could really open to some cold. This is by next Thursday. See how strong this eastern Pacific high pressure ridge is? That building that up causes the jet stream to really take a dip south. Notice high pressure right here. It's like two bookends. So you have high pressure along the east, high pressure along the west coast. Where does the cold air want to go? Well, it wants to go into the central and western United States. Now, is this going to happen? Don't know yet. We have to see what happens out here in the eastern Pacific, because sometimes these cold snaps can actually retrograde back this way, and it actually ends up being a mild pattern. But we're putting early November on watch because there's a lot of cold air up there. If that cold air gets released south, then Katie bar the door. This is by next Thursday night. This is of interest right here. Look at Alaska, the Northwest Territories, the Yukon. You see the purple and the green here? If you are 20 to 30 degrees below your average in that part of the world in November, it's cold. It's really cold. And that has access to the central and western United States. Again, this is a maybe. What I'm doing is showing you a possible scenario. Not saying it's going to happen yet, but if you've got something going on in early November, you need to stay tuned to this podcast, and we'll see whether or not if it develops. If it does develop, it'll be significant. And if you were to look from a northern hemispheric perspective, this is for the same time. This is by next Thursday and Friday. Notice the core of the blue here has a north-south axis with it going on to the other side of the globe here. This is a pattern we've seen historically that is a cold one for the November season. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. We'll see what develops. Have yourself a